Hello! In today's video, we are going to be doing both Battle Abyss here, and we are also going to be taking a look at the recent developer Q&A and some of the things that the developers are planning on rolling out in the near future. So without further ado, let's get into it. So let's start by going over some of the more controversial things first. First, we have this new change, which is for when people are attacked by more than 30 legions, not 20 as it initially said, but when they're attacked by more than 30 legions, the person will get the Last Stand ability. And what that does, let me just pay attention and hit this infantry. We are doing this live, it's not a voiceover. They get increased damage resistance and reduce the damage taken. I think that basically just says the same thing twice. And the more legions that attack the march simultaneously, the further those effects are strengthened. Now, this is going to completely change how fighting works, I think, at least when it comes to infantry. And there's also a couple of other things as well, we'll touch on that in a second. But just for infantry, this is going to be really strange, because infantry is already tanky when it's low HP. They already have this kind of mechanic built in. So I don't know if that'll take precedence, and maybe this new thing won't work on infantry specifically, since they already have that increased defense when they get low on health. But if not, then killing infantry is going to be a lot harder. So it's going to be even more important, and it might make it so that you're going to have like a really difficult time pushing through chokes and stuff. We'll have to see how that works out exactly. But what I am most concerned about with this is that this just heavily favors whales. And the reason why I say that is that there are a lot of whales that play this game that have absolutely terrible micro, and some whose playstyle is even just to send out, like pure counterattack marches, send out 5 marches of calves directly into a group of like 150, 200 players, 200 marches at least. So players like that are going to be rewarded by this change, and I don't know if that is necessarily a good thing. Now, of course, they do want to somewhat capitulate to the people that are spending more, but in the sense of general game balance, I really don't think that this is a good idea, and I'm pretty sure that the majority of people would agree with that. I don't understand where this came from. I guess it has to have come from like a few complaints from people that just have spent a lot and really don't actually like playing the game. They just want to win or get better trades. Because in my opinion, the thing that sets this game apart is actually the micro, which is what I think a lot of people would conclude as well, which is the thing that sets this game apart. And diminishing that just seems like a really bad idea. Even though I myself, at times, am not the greatest at it, as I've explained to a few people this season. Like, I did way too much resource healing, for example, not taking the smartest trades and whatnot. But diminishing the importance, look at that Gargantus only hit 1, maybe 2 marches. But diminishing the importance of good micro just seems terrible. And it's not only that, it's also punishing good coordination with your alliance, because if your alliance is very active in fighting and they're constantly switching between targets and all targeting the same march, which is what a good alliance does. For example, some marches or some alliances will put markers on the specific march that they're going to be targeting. That's a very common thing that high ranking or high performing alliances do. It punishes that, which is just ridiculous. So again, we will have to see how this works out, but in general, I'm not a fan. Now, we do have some more things in this update notice that I believe is going live tonight. I think it's like about 12 hours from now or so that this is going to be going live. And the other part of this game update notice is regarding changes that are being made right now in Season 1 servers, and I really don't understand why they're trying to push this through. They did have this, I believe, in a previous notice before. They were rolling out these features regarding like locking certain hero unlocks behind different like building progressions and stuff like that, which just makes absolutely no sense, because people that are low level are still going to have a hard time leveling up those heroes. So like, even if they get them unlocked, what's the big deal? Sure, they can spend universal tokens, but that makes absolutely no sense. And then on top of this feature test thing, they're also introducing a third building and third cube. So this is being edited in after the fact here. No, they are not adding a third research queue. And luckily I was able to chat with people in my Discord server, particularly Renegade, so thank you for correcting me on that. I haven't been paying attention to this for the last little while, so I was unaware of the drama that happened, that spread from the source video that I watched that went over this complaint of the new features in new servers from Boss Nasty. So I guess he didn't verify it, and I didn't verify it either. Nor did I read in the like Discord help channel or things like that, wherever this was, just because I did not know where that was. But okay, so they are not adding a third research queue, which is good, but I don't know, maybe like they should. Like, it would be kind of interesting. I think a third research queue would be a good thing to have if you could buy it with gems, because you do need to allow new players to progress faster. It just has to be a thing, that way more people are incentivized to play. Even having it behind a paywall, like, yeah, I don't know, if at a certain point when you're paying, you should get rewarded for it, and as long as it isn't like a absurdly high price, I think it would be fine. Now the third builder is being added, that is a thing, so that is mostly going to affect like early game development and stuff. You get to the point where you can't max your buildings like relatively quickly, because of the watchtower and rally beacon. Where this is going to help though is with your training buildings, so you're going to be able to get the passive buffs from having your training buildings leveled up a lot faster, which would be very helpful. Well, maybe not very helpful, but you know, you're gonna have your buildings go up 50% faster. Generally, I think it's a good thing. Luckily, again, I was able to be corrected before I uploaded this video. If I hadn't mentioned that in the Discord, yeah, definitely I would have uploaded this with that mistake in it as well, and that would have been a whole thing. So I'm glad that didn't happen. Now, they are also in this releasing this new questoscope system, which I have no idea what that is. Maybe somebody who is like a content creator in a newer server will do a review of that at some point. I guess we'll see if that's coming to like the game in its entirety. Like, if these patches are all approved or these features are all approved, then maybe I'll spend the time to take a look at that, but I just don't have the time to invest in that, I guess. So, you know, hopefully, again, as I mentioned earlier, which was still accurate, hopefully they don't decide to implement this locking heroes behind certain building or city hall levels. Hopefully they don't decide to make that a thing, because that would be absolutely terrible. It does take a while to unlock certain heroes, and I guess maybe I will have to check this out, or at least make an account in one of these kingdoms. That way I just know where these unlock levels are, and I'm not relying on second or third hand knowledge. That would probably be smart. So maybe I'll do that just so I have better knowledge in the future. Anyways, with that being said, I think that this is probably to the point where it's about the same length as the... Oh no, wow, I yapped a lot in this video. Yeah. Okay, I yapped about that point there with the third research queue for like 10 minutes. Wow. Okay, well, maybe like 8 minutes, and this is about like 5 minutes long. Anyways, enjoy the rest of the video, I guess. Very glad I was able to make this correction, and we'll see how this feature, or how these features end up shaking out. I suspect that people won't like it, but I guess maybe a little bit good. We'll see. Let's go ahead and talk about some good news. So we'll go ahead and move over to the recent dev Q&A that they did. And the first point of this Q&A is awesome. They are now going to allow you to store the Seals of Power from the Heights of Power event, I think is what it's called. Yes, from the Heights of Power event. So this is really big, and the reason for this is that, you know, even if you are a low spend, you're going to have a decently easy, well, quote-unquote easy time of getting a skin now, because you can just power up 5 million power 6 times, or 10 million power 3 times, or something like that, and then guarantee the skin. Now, you can do that, but one thing that you can also do is you can like power up 5 million power 2 or 3 times, and then depending on what kingdom you're in, like if 15 million power or 20 million power is enough to win the Heights of Power event, which I think at this point is only going to be top 10, not top 20 like it was for a little bit. But if you're able to get top 10 with 15 or 20 million power, then you can use those previous seals to also get the adornment. And that's definitely going to be the strategy going forward, I think. It'll definitely be possible for free-to-plays to get the adornment now, which I think is really cool. Because, like, historically, pushing 30 million power right at once as free-to-play is pretty difficult. But if you're able to push, like, 5 million, then 5 million, then 20 million, I think that's definitely possible. Anyways, we didn't get a ton of merits here, but we probably didn't take that very many sevs either. It's 163,000 merits. Let's go ahead and take a look at how many sevs I took from that, though. Probably like 200,000. 193,000, yeah. Okay, so almost a 1-to-1 trade ratio on the sevs. I'll definitely take that. And I will be back with the next match here in 15 minutes. I'm pretty sure you can start another match right before the period ends here. If not, I'll just cut back in and we'll go over the patch notes of the dev Q&A normally. Anyways, yeah, see you in about 17 minutes or whatever. Okay, so missed a little bit of the PvP here, but that's because I was busy chatting with people in the Discord. They're talking about Palmon Survival, which I made a few videos on recently. It's a decent game, and yeah, but those videos are mostly for people who are going to be playing Palmon in the future, just so that they can find something when they search for guides on YouTube. Anyways, let's get back to the Q&A. So we're going to move on to question 3, since question 2 was just about the thing that we already talked about with the damage reduction when you're getting swarmed basically in the field. So yeah, I don't want to rehash that. But moving on to point 3, they're going to be introducing the merit store in Home Kingdom or something like that. I haven't taken the time to read this in its entirety. I'm also getting destroyed here in this Battle Abyss match. So I guess let me go ahead and take the time to actually read this while also trying not to die. Okay, so question. Reducing the length of the season means that players can buy fewer items in the merit store, making the war pet training process slower. My wall deer is like really dead, huh? I guess that's fine. Anyways, making the war pet training process slower. Will you also be shortening the time of resets between the merit store? Yeah, okay, so that's the thing that they're not doing. Let me go ahead and fall back. Wall deer's gonna die, that's fine though. So it makes sense to not reduce the refresh time on the merit store. I think that's something that they could do, is just add more refreshes. That would seem to be completely fine to me. I don't know why anyone would complain about that. Just make them 100 gems as well. Or you can maybe do 100, 100, 200, 200 or something like that. I'm pretty sure that I suggested that before as well. Maybe when I was doing like my like 450 suggestion review video or something like that, I did that, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyways, though, if we move on to the further part of their answer here, A1, I guess is what it is. The Mara store will be opened in the rest period between seasons, allowing players to purchase items in their home realm. Now, this means that you're going to have to merit farm in Home Kingdom, which is interesting. I kind of wish that what they did instead is that they allowed us to not have a cap on the weekly reset merits on like the last week or maybe even the last 2 weeks of the KVK or something like that. I feel like that could be a cool Augerstone chapter. Like, merits are no longer reset, and then for the first Augerstone chapter of the next season, you could have all merits are reset above and then X threshold. I think that that would be a good workaround to forcing people to merit farm in Home Kingdom, which is kind of rough, especially since I believe there's a lowered hospital or elixir capacity, elixir regeneration. I think that they did increase it in a recent update, but it's still obviously not the same as like max buffs in a KVK. Our Bertrand is getting absolutely killed here going for this lizard. Let's go ahead and pull this back. We'll actually refresh Bertrand there. Okay. And the tier system for the merit store is being removed, which is a huge win. This means that you'll be able to buy 50k elixir pots, 600k cost skills, alliance TPs, and I think either 10 or 15 regeneration pots right off the bat, which is a huge win. And I'm happy to see that. The number of regeneration potions is also being increased, so maybe you'll be able to buy like 20 or 30 regeneration potions plus a refresh, 40 or 60, plus the ones you can buy with gems in the daily. But yeah, it's a great change, and I think that it makes complete sense, especially with the seasons getting shorter and shorter. It feels like you only have access to the premium merit store for like a few weeks. I know logically that it's a little bit longer than that, but still glad to see this change. And that's it for question 3. Now moving on to question 4. I'm not going to read this all because it is a bit wordy. Basically what they're saying is that people are complaining about moving between different shells, which is entirely logical to complain about. They gave us the ability to have a priority list, and then they set it to only 30 players, and then they set it to only 60 players, which still like wasn't really enough. 30 is like only enough for Roots of War, and like 60 is like only enough for essential staff and like super active fighters. But now they're making it a full 200 people, which is great. Some kingdoms have more than 200 people. I think ours is maybe one of them. Then obviously, I think you have Echo, I believe, has more than 200, a little bit more. Some other kingdoms as well. But for the most part, this is going to cover a lot of kingdoms. I guess maybe like in the, newer generations, there's probably a lot of servers with over 200 accounts that fight, but 200 is a fair number for sure. So you're probably going to have like, 180 players and then like 20 alt accounts and stuff like that. Like alt accounts just for staff management and things. But yeah, great change for sure. And they're also adding an auto approval feature, which is something that I've suggested several times. So I'm glad they're finally doing that. And basically what this is that it is setting a requirement to join, but also if you meet that requirement, you don't have to apply. You can just automatically join the alliance. So for example, if you set that requirement, if you're in Season of Strife, you set up to like 60 million or something. I mean, there's probably not going to be any random accounts in your kingdom with 60 million power, especially now that you're able to banish people. So definitely a good call, and that almost makes the list, like the for what it's called, the priority list, I think is what it's called. It almost makes that obsolete, but I'm still down for there to be an auto approval feature. That'll definitely, well, I guess maybe it won't help in the early game, but once you have your kingdom established, it'll help a lot for sure. Anyways, moving on here, we have question 5. And this is that alliance management privileges are often only open to officers, making management unwieldy. Will you do anything to fix this? And I'm going to read the answer here since it's not super straightforward. We are currently working on a new feature which will allow the alliance leader to choose which alliance management privileges are granted to each membership rank, allowing alliances to customize management privileges in order to meet differing needs. Due to the possibility of conflicts between multiple players, the Beastmaster's ability to control behemoths will not be made available for customization at this time. That's fine. I think only one person, I wasn't even controlling my marches there for a bit, that's rough. Only one person having the ability to summon behemoths, I think is fine, as long as you have an active R4. That shouldn't be a problem because you can just reassign that role. And the ability to, say, like, give all R3s the ability to accept and invite players and place markers and things like that, and then like only giving R4s the ability to build and destroy buildings would be really nice, because then you can have like this further split authority where like you have 10 people that can do this super important building, but then you can also have these people as war supports in R3 that can still help out but also not have like this kind of crazy power that where they could even like accidentally screw over the alliance. So that's definitely a very good change. Moving on to question 6. The Roots of War registration process is arduous, which that's a rare word there, arduous, for Alliance administrators. Will you be making it more streamlined? And the answer is that yes, they will be. You'll be able to sign up the same week or the same list of players as the previous week, which is definitely good for people that constantly fight in the same team. So for like your elite teams in your kingdoms that typically don't have signups, then that'll be good for them. But I think that like in general, some alliances or some kingdoms, most kingdoms probably have a little bit of fluctuation, but it'll still be helpful. And each alliance will be able to register 6 Roots of War teams, which, I mean, that's like 180 players. So yeah, that should be enough. I can't imagine a reason why you would need more than that. I guess maybe if you have a full 200 active players that all want to do Roots of War, you'd have to send some people to a different shell, but yeah, 6 teams, that is definitely enough. Okay. They are saying that those stages are still in the planning stage, though, so we can't be expecting them super soon, but those are good changes, so nothing bad to say about that on my end. Question number 7 here is, will you make Roots of War League available? And the plan, as they are saying, is for the first tournament to take place in August this year, so that'll definitely be cool to see. And yeah, looking forward to that. It's been a long time coming. I think Roots of War League is something that was thrown out there like over a year ago. I think people are just excited about it because of Ark of Osiris League and Rise of Kingdoms, and they're like, hey, you did this in this game, why can't you just do it in this game as well? And it makes sense for it to have taken a little while longer. Like maybe it should have been out like 6 months ago. But hey, at least it's finally planning to come out, and I don't know how August is for a time frame for like hype. I think that it would have made more sense for it to line up more with the summer. If they would have released it like this month, June, I think that would have made a lot of sense. Get people hyped up about it, get people playing in the summer. But nah, I guess it's still fine. So yeah, that was question 7 there. Let me go ahead and not die to this Goresh if I can avoid it. I guess this is almost over. So I guess we'll just play this out, and then we'll move on to question 8 outside of this once we are no longer in Abyss. And then we'll just look at the actual mail. We're getting swarmed here right at the end. Hopefully our marches don't die. Waldir died, so that's going to be a lot more sevs than before because our marches died. Waldir died twice, poor guy. Take a look at the total reports, not great. 14th place, I mean, yeah, our marches are pretty weak, and we can't be competing with like people sending infantry and stuff, but like, even you see this guy's getting 100,000 merits with Lilia Thea, which is like more than half of our total merits, which is pretty wild. We weren't paying a ton of attention though with our micro and stuff, so we're fine with it. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at the mail here. Have it under saved. Yes, here we go. Let's go down to question 8. The Eliana's Crisis event has become unappealing for players with maxed out heroes. Duh. Will you add a new way to use surplus abandoned puppets? We continue to add new epic heroes and events that take place at Eliana's Crisis in future updates rather. Also add ways to scrap or exchange surplus abandoned puppets. Nice. How many of those do I have? I have 731. It's quite a lot, I think. I know in Rise of Kingdoms you get so many of like the Lohar's necklaces, I think it's what it's called. It's been a while since I've played that game, but you get thousands and thousands of them in that game. Here, this number seems a lot more tame. But yeah, definitely a lot of extra. So it's good to see that they'll eventually change that event to include a different hero. It would almost be cool if you could like pick what hero you wanted to get the tokens of, like the epic hero, obviously. But yeah, it's cool to see that they'll be bringing out, assumably, new peacekeeping epic heroes. Question 9. Logging in every day to update buildings, research tech, and train legions requires switching between multiple interfaces. What will you do to make this process easier? Now, I don't think this is a real complaint. I think that they just want to add this queue management panel because it's kind of standardized in a lot of games like this at this point. They have it, for example, in Palamon Survival, which I've been playing a little bit recently, but they also have it in a lot of other games too, even games not by Farlight. So they probably want to have just like this more standardized feature. Now, hopefully there will be a way to hide it, because I don't want more bloat on my screen when I'm trying to fight. Like, yeah, 3 pop-ups here in the top right is more than enough. I don't need like another sidebar over here or something obstructing my view with information that is entirely irrelevant to me personally. I just go into my city, I train troops once per day, and that's it. I guess I almost have a research I have to do like in 18 days. Well, I guess I'll be doing this during Heights of Power, but like for me, no, it doesn't matter at all. So yeah, hopefully there will be a way to hide it. If not, that'll be very bad. And question 10, marksman units are already too strong. Are you sure that buffing them any further won't unbalance the game? So I guess maybe we're saving something more controversial for the end here as well. Let's take a look and read their answer. The planned changes will not make Marksman's Legion's range equal to Magic Legion's. Instead, they will provide options that players can switch between, which would make their range equal. So, kind of dodging the question here. Switching to long distance mode will cause Marksman Legions to lose some of their original attribute advantages. For example, they will receive a reduction in attack, defense, and HP. This does not mean that Marksman Legions are being buffed and Magic Legions are being weakened. Yes, it does. Or that Marksman Legions will be able to take the place of Magic Legions on the battlefield. Yes, they probably will be. Permanent long-range warfare, like, mages in general are just so much weaker than archers. There's the troop types, but also the heroes. Like Magrad, sure, it's the only one that you can use with mages, and it makes mages perform pretty good, but archers with Magrad perform even better. And then if you, like, let's go, I don't even know what the archer heroes are off the top of my head. Like, see, I don't even have the new ones unlocked here. But, like, even if you're going for a Sindrian Fragar March, that's still better with long-range warfare then a lot of mage marches. I guess maybe if you have your mage heroes awakened, it's a little bit of a different story. I'm interested to see how this works out though, and I guess I might end up running mage or archers then. I'm not 100% sure here. Like you see, if we take a look at my mages aren't great. I was taking a look at somebody in the free-to-play chat. Viator has Bert, Tohar, Velen, and Thundolin all awakened as free-to-play, which is pretty crazy. It's because I don't think that I would quite be able to get there. Like, this onto Tohar would take, like, maybe another, like, 150 tokens. Yeah, I guess I could kind of get there. Like about 600 tokens, but it's kind of beside the point. I'm so sunk cost into mages at this point that I don't know if I can really invest in archers. I think I'll wait and see how good the G4 mages are. Like, they better be good, especially with permanent long-range warfare. This combination, along with the reduced ability to swarm people's legions, I feel is just like a crazy, like, I don't know if you want to call it a double whammy that they're throwing out there. Like, I don't know how anyone is going to be able to fight with mage units. Yeah, my Destiny tickets highlighted here because that's what I'll obviously be using to go ahead and unlock the G4 mages as soon as they're available for me in the Wheel of Destiny. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how those mage heroes look by the time we get there. I guess by then I will probably have enough tokens to awaken one of the mage heroes, and I think I'm going to be pretty close to awakening Thundolin too. I need, what is this? 160, 231 tokens, I believe, to awaken my Thundolin. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start 10 spinning the wheel when we have a wheel that includes Thundolin. Unfortunately, this one is just marksman and infantry, or cavalry and infantry rather. So yeah, I can't get Thundolin tokens right now, but yeah, lots of things to look forward to here, I guess, and to see how they work out. Again, if you have a opinionated opinion, kind of redundant, on the feature where they're adding for in the new servers for locking heroes behind them to city level limits, which is kind of crazy, let me know in the comments. We can probably have a debate about that, and we'll see how exactly that ends up working out. Like, it's hard for me because I want people to be able to progress their account growth faster, but it also sucks if you're harming free to play at the same time. I don't know. It's a hard thing to balance. Anyways, that'll be it for this video. I will be doing a video soon on our season recap. You can see that we did, in fact, win our season. It was a lot of fun, though. A lot of pressure, too, in this like one particular zone, which is what I'll be going over in that video and just talking about that a bit. But yeah, we did win, and that was nice. And we will see how we can perform next season, I guess, too. But yeah, I'll be doing a season recap video probably tomorrow, I guess. Yeah, well, season rewards are tonight, but I'm going to be busy tonight, so yeah, I'll do that tomorrow. Okay, awesome, and yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, I guess, like the video, subscribe to the channel, cool stuff. I should probably be doing these shoutouts earlier in the video instead of, almost 40 minutes in, but hey, it is what it is. Alright, thanks for watching, and have a great rest of your day.